Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, teenagers of all ages, there is a bit of news that's happened earlier in the week. Final Cut presents the Director's Cut podcast and its sister podcast, Body Slams and Dropkicks, has been bought out by a very generous offer by, well, let's just say he's got loads more money than I have. He's got more cars than I have. In fact, I think he's got more planes, cars, and mansions than I've got teeth and fingers. So, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you, Final Cut that presents Director's Cut Podcast's new owner, Mr. Wayne. Mr. Wayne, it's an honor to have you on here.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you. I just want to thank you for bringing me on and showing me and my enterprises the way this works, because I have some things that I wanted to tell you. We'll just say he's very fantastic, but a friend of ours.
Oh, he definitely is. By the way, sir, just before you begin, can I ask, how are you enjoying being the owner of the Final Cut Presents the Director's Cut podcast?
Well, I'm so far as so good. As long as Fraser and you, Dean, are able to follow my plans and my layout, it's so far so good.
It's definitely an honor, and I have seen your ambition for this podcast. I've seen the future, and all I'm going to say is I would not have sold my podcast to anyone who I didn't think had a clear line of sight for the future, and would definitely give myself and Mr. Fraser job security and a future that we could not be happier about.
Good, Dean. I want to tell you that you can see the trends that were happening. I'm buying out everything. And
Thank
this podcast was one of the last in my way. So now that I have this, I'm going to do everything I can so I don't break up your little podcast. I'm going to instead enhance it. And by doing so, I'm going to bring in some decrypted files of Dr. J, the Joker, from his database.
You mean you had a secret database that nobody told us about?
I just sent you an encrypted file. And in this file, okay, it has his real opinions on certain fandoms. Okay. Now, the first thing that I have to call out is Dr. J's favorite of all time. And when I say favorite of all time, I mean the GOAT. The very best Harley Quinn is none other than Margot Robbie. And I think I think that is unquestionably unanimous. Mr. Fraser, am I right? Am I
wow.
right?
You are correct. It's shocking.
I'm going to ask my buddy Lucius is nodding right over here. Lucius is nodding. So obviously,
I'm shocked. Forgive me, sir. I'm so shocked. This is the same Dr. J that would literally not even let us speak anything else other than Arlene Sorkin or Tara Strong, depending on which mood he was in, was the best Harley Quinn in the world. But now you're telling me, after all this time, he likes Margot Robbie, so he sided with the producer against me and Fraser. How could he?
I'm afraid to tell you this, Dean, but I think in America we call it fronting, and that's what he was doing this whole time. Fronting. Really, his obsession is of Margot Robbie, the very best Harley Quinn, the GOAT.
Well, if I may say so, sir, I'm in full agreement.
I expect you to agree with all of these encrypted.
I'm pretty sure that I will, sir.
Okay. The next thing I wanted to say was, I didn't realize this, and this is very bizarre, but Lucius again is nodding. You can see him here. He's nodding.
Yeah, I certainly can, yes.
Call of Duty is Dr. J's favorite game of all time. And I'm a little bit surprised by that, but
Fraser, how many times every time we've discussed Call of Duty, how many times has a certain Dr. J suddenly become, bored, fallen asleep? I'm pretty sure that once he nearly set fire to his therapy sessions once. I'm sure he did.
Every time.
Oh.
I feel that's important to bring up, Dean, right now, is that I see here a diagram, and I see the mechanism, the acid in his flour,
Yes.
Dr. J, is none other than wheat. It's not even any kind of. It's not any kind of acid. It's we, as you and the Brits say we, as we over here say pee. So evidently he's had us the whole time, Dr. J again.
And you know what? He threatened me with that every single Sunday when I didn't even give in to his demands. And he could have weed on me. Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
Fraser, what the hell did we hire?
Some of those guys.
You did that hiring.
This is why this takeover is necessary.
Yes, it
he
is.
also writes how Robert Pattinson is the best live Batman of all time, which undoubtedly is correct.
Yes, definitely, sir.
Yes. Yes. Do you agree, Fraser?
Oh, totally. I can't deny it. Apparently, Joker is law on this podcast.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised, sir, if you find that he has a secret crush on the Batman,
I imagine.
Who bats he and I? Well, I just want to pummel him into oblivion. But no, I bet what he secretly meant was, I want to kiss him all over until I am blue in the face.
I believe that he's following on Instagram on all my social medias. So,
oh gosh,
yes, sending me pictures on my text messages. It's sick. Yeah, Dr. J. I didn't realize this, but he was a big fan of Star Wars.
Was he?
Episodes 7, 8, and 9. Big.
You mean the episodes where he absolutely agreed with me when I butchered them?
Well,
I suppose you tell me there's something worse.
Yes, he was doing, like we say in America, fronting once again. Yeah, and evidently he was not a fan of Empire Strikes Back. He was just trying to get your agreement. But
oh my God,
not a fan of Empire Strikes Back. He didn't like the line that Harrison Ford improvised at the end.
Oh my God! 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 What have I hired? What did I hire?
This Dr. J was very happy. The Joker was very happy that Luke never got off the island. He was extremely happy, according to this. Okay, and this is not my statements. Okay, this is the decrypted files from Dr. J from his database that were found. Okay, on certain fandoms from his real opinion. He was very happy that Luke, Leia, and Han Solo never had their meet and greet, never had their reunion.
Oh God! I thought he was sick, but I didn't think he was this sick.
It's actually a sad moment, isn't it?
Yes. It kind of makes, in a way, the way he is now, kind of makes Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre look a bit sane.
Yes, so insane. He is sane. I like that. Yes, I've run across quite a few of them like that.
Oh, I bet you have, sir.
Well, that's about all on that I can mention. The rest is completely confidential that I will be handing you in person. The rest of the
just can at least me and Fraser have a bit of forewarning, sir. Is there anything at all that involves Shawn Michaels or maybe Kingdom Hearts? The ones that, one, he cannot live without, and two, he literally endorses us. I believe, is it Kingdom Hearts, Fraser, where he has said before that Kingdom Hearts is one of the best video games of all time?
That he did.
I will say,
please tell me he does not.
There is on this encrypted video, or he has a video actually as well. But there's a big heart, okay, and it says Kingdom Hearts, but then it has an X through it. So take what you may. Yeah, take what you may. But evidently, it may or may not be, according to Dr. J, the worst video games of all time. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. And there's, as far as Shawn Michaels, I'm scanning it right now, but there's no mention of him. There's mention of Bruce about the Beefcake, Greg the Hammer Valentine, the British Bulldogs. No Shawn Michaels, no.
Wow.
No.
All this time, Fraser, he literally coerced us into saying that Shawn Michaels was the greatest of all time. And now we have our new boss has made us see the light that he actually does not like Shawn Michaels. But he actually said, but actually, Fraser, do you know what? If he doesn't endorse Shawn Michaels, that means that, in your opinion, Kenny Omega is the best of all time. And in my opinion, which I've always stated, The Undertaker is the best of all time.
Oh, The Undertaker, yes. I see The Undertaker, and it's underlined 4 times.
I knew it!
Right
I knew it!
Right next to that is G period, O period, A period, T period.
Yes! I knew it! I absolutely... Sorry, sir, forgive me, but I always knew it. I knew he was hiding a few secrets.
Well, I'm glad that we straightened up a couple things. Yes, like I said before, this Dr. J listed the movie Batman and Robin as an instant classic, possibly one of the best of all time. So
No,
that means
that's unacceptable. No.
It may mean something, it may mean nothing to you, but it does say Batman and Robin, the movie, the best of all time.
Oh my God. Oh,
It's got like 6 hearts around it and everything.
oh, my headaches come back. Oh, migraine. Oh.
Yes, as a matter of fact, after reading all this, I might have to.
Oh my God.
Quite embarrassing.
Oh, sorry, sir. Oh, hold on. Am I still breathing? Because I feel like I was choking on my own vomit there.
It does take the air out of you, doesn't it?
Oh, sorry. I do apologize, sir.
It's okay, Dean.
Oh,
You do a good job under the circumstances of what you have to deal with.
thank you so much, sir. Is there anything else on there?
Nothing that we can describe and say out loud.
Oh no. It's
Yes,
all rated R, isn't it? It's all NC-17, isn't it?
It's unfortunate news. Very, yes.
Right. I love rated R. I do not want NC-17 on. It's not. I know it's not my podcast, sir, but technically it's yours. But as the original visionary of my podcast, I always tended to stay away from NC-17 stuff because I thought rated R was the most. I'll say the most I would actually go, but I would never go NC-17. That's way too much.
No, I don't know what this means, Fraser. Maybe you may be able to help me with this. But it says Big Brian is a B+ player. I'm not sure what that means. It may mean something to you. It may mean nothing to you. I don't know.
That's pro wrestler Daniel Bryan from AEW, WWE, multi-time WWE champion.
Is nothing but a B+ player. Is that?
Wow.
Right in the heart.
What a blow that is. It's like we're all being stabbed in the back. Dean, I see you're speechless. Dean's not feeling well. He just stepped away. Wow. I feel very, very bad for you guys. It's time to clean this podcast up. That's all I have to say. Well, Fraser, what are your thoughts since we've just lost Dean?
I'm horrified. The raid he fought for everything on this podcast, and I said he's been fronting this entire time. I feel so betrayed. I'm appalled.
I guess it's called business. It's called business.
Sorry, sir.
Well, that's all that's in the files, Dean. So, what was the plans for this podcast? Let's get it a giddy up. What do we have going on today?
Well, actually, sir, now that you mention it, it is Sunday night, so it's podcast night. So I thought we could discuss the news that I have actually been researching for the last week or so. And then we could do a nice discussion about, well, where a certain load of superheroes' future could possibly be, because there's been a lot of doubt about where the DCEU will go from here on in. So I thought we as responsible podcast hosts and co-hosts have a responsibility to share the ultimate truth to how we feel, rather than apparently the half-truths that me and Fraser have been told for a few years. it does actually make me kind of doubt my own sanity, sir. I'll be brutally honest.
Very good. Okay, let us proceed.
With pleasure, sir. Just bear with me a second. And plus, the other thing is, I literally just vomited in my kitchen sink, so I need a minute to try and steady myself and clear a few things as well.
Very good. Well, yes, we all heard that. So yes, take your time.
Thank you. Right, sir. If I may start with the news. Thank you. We've had a second trailer for. Excuse me. I've still got vomit in my mouth. I do apologise. There's been a new trailer for Mario, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, starring Chris Pratt and Taylor-Joy, and probably the best Bowser ever, Jack Black. According to IGN, the original creator of Donkey Kong chimed in to explain how the team wants to take the opportunity to give him a comical personality and design reminiscent of the original character. And to be brutally honest, sir, I actually think they've done a good job.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm a fan of those actors, of Anna Taylor-Joy. Excellent.
Although I must admit, I would have, as much as this may generate, to be honest with you, it may cause controversy, but to be honest with you, if controversy is what I've experienced since we started this week's episode, I don't even think that this pales in comparison. I still want Charles Martinet, the original voice actor of Mario, to actually be in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Because basically, if I may, sir, Chris Pratt is just playing Chris Pratt. It's like how the old movies used to be with Roger Moore. I always remember somebody saying that Roger Moore was just playing Roger Moore. But the thing is, with Mario, we want a plumber who speaks Italian. We don't want a Chris Pratt who can't speak Italian to save his life.
Who would you like to have cast?
Charles Martinet.
Aye.
Because, I'll tell you why, sir, he's the original Mario voice actor, and not only will it introduce a new generation to the man who has been such a legend, and the other thing would be, so like people like myself, Fraser, who have actually played video games for as long as we can remember, it would be a nice trip down memory lane when we used to play the old NESs, when we spent more time on one level than we probably spent having dinner with our parents.
Yes, indeed.
I do actually intend to watch what it's like, but if I do watch it, it will be for everybody but Chris Pratt, just so you are aware, sir. The Addams Family spin-off Wednesday, starring Jenna Ortega, has already broken Netflix records for the most hours viewed in a single week of any Netflix TV show. And apparently it's actually equals Stranger Things Season 4, which is, if I may say so, sir, it's quite a feat.
Wow, that is impressive.
It would almost be like, what's that name? What's the name of that guy who apparently always tries to buy out your company because he thinks he's better than you? Is it Lex Luthor, sir, or is it which one is it?
No, we will not mention any kind of no name.
Yeah, but we'll just say the man with no name, which, to be fair, is probably also the title of I believe it's also a character the name of a Mel Gibson movie from the late 80s. So, Man with No Name sounds good, sir.
And Sergio Leone with Clint Eastwood movies.
Maybe. Some bad news, sir. I know since you are a multi-billionaire, you've probably been to a few theme parks with a few ladies in your time. Splash Mountain, the Disney Parks attraction based on the highly controversial film Song of the South, will officially shut down in Walt Disney World on January 23rd. Its redesigned Tiana's Bayou Adventure, based on Princess and the Frog, will open in, well, I'll say 2024, but there is no date behind it, sir. I must admit, I have never had the pleasure of doing Splash Mountain, although I believe it's Splash Mountain that will always remain in memory, or is it Space Mountain, where Ross has had a very bad taco from friends and decides to release a few things south of the border on the actual ride. I forget which one it is, sir. But either way, it will be one that will be missed, particularly with everyone who, and with all due respect to your butler, sir, is a bit old-fashioned.
Well said.
Thank you, sir. Fraser, I don't know if you've ever been to Disney World, but is it
No.
about time? Was it about time that a ride that's probably older than all of us is shut down and replaced with something new?
Well, they could always upgrade it, but I guess it depends on the nostalgia and what it means to the park.
Then again, times change, doesn't it? Times evolve. Everything evolves in time. I mean, put it this way, we've evolved to the point where we don't do, well, I don't do eFed anymore. I have a podcast, you have a podcast, and I believe you still do eFed. So we've evolved.
It's been a while.
Yeah, but you still do it though, mate. And
Oh.
we've definitely evolved as a podcast because we have a billionaire playboy who's our new owner, and we definitely don't have anybody else in our midst anymore. You know what? I always used to make the joke that I would fire that clown, but unfortunately now I don't have to because it's already been done for me. I do apologize for this, sir, but there is some Marvel news. I hope you understand. MODOK will appear in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania because there's a Funko Pop that actually reveals his design. So I'll just show you guys here if I can get in focus. There we go.
Oh, wow.
Tell me, sir, could you have built something like that?
Oh, indubitably.
Oh, I bet you could have. I bet you could have actually built it better because let's face it, you have the best scientific brains on planet Earth. Some good news. I have actually seen this movie. Bob Odenkirk, as in Better Call Saul, has actually confirmed that Nobody 2 is happening. I have seen the original. Just think of it as John Wick 20 years older. Still heavy hitting, still bloody, and still worth a bloody good watch.
It was a good film. It was a very good film.
Yeah. Bob Odenkirk confirmed Nobody 2's goal is to shoot next year, adding, we need to make a great sequel, and so it's about making sure that we get it right. Basically, here's my advice, sir. Just follow the formula of the original. That's why John Wick's come back for 3 more, possibly 4 more. If the formula is unchanged and it doesn't need changing, don't change it. Now, you as a businessman, sir, you can always say that if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's the policy.
Oh, actually, when you mentioned about Margot Robbie earlier, sir, I think that's actually quite prudent considering I actually have here something where it says, though it's unconfirmed if she'll return to the role, the best Harley Quinn in the world, Margot Robbie, was asked about a potential romance story between Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy in the future, which, Mr. Fraser, I believe you know your comic book history, there is actually a bit of a romantic storyline between the Ivy and the Quinn.
Yep, they've over time, like through different series, they've slowly come together and everything. And even I think in the new Harley Quinn show, they have them together.
Margot has replied that she has been pushing for that for years. I cannot tell you how hard I've been pushing for that. I actually think, I don't know how a lot of comic book fans would be, but I'll tell you one person who definitely doesn't want to see that would be that other man who won't be named. Yes, we shall not mention his name whatsoever.
But we do have his encrypted files, and I think that's correct.
Yeah. Is there anything about anything in that encrypted files that says that Marvel is better than DC?
I will not read those. Those are also confidential.
Fair enough. Then. IGN also reports that the Daredevil Born Again actor Charlie Cox says there's place for Daredevil in Deadpool 3. He's mentioned how the tone of its upcoming Disney Plus series Born Again, which was done at the end of Daredevil's run in its Netflix one, but given how it's got more episodes on the Disney Plus when it eventually does go, should suggest that we might get more storyline to it, and hopefully it won't revolve around the Kingpin hiring the future Bullseye, and more than likely won't involve Bullseye at all. He's actually said the character might fit into Wade Wilson's world. Well, let's put it this way: I think there's only one comic book actor that Deadpool's pining for, and that would be Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Now, I'm sure, Mr. Fraser, my dear co-host, that you above all people know that Deadpool and Spider-Man have had some sort of liaison, I'll say.
They've had a bromance.
Yeah.
a really rocky bromance. Like at one point in the comics, Deadpool actually gets contracted to kill Peter, and then Peter somehow comes back, and him and Deadpool are even more shaky water with each other. There's actually a really hilarious fight that happened where Spider-Man's fighting an invisible opponent and Deadpool believes him, so he knocks Peter out and he puts on his costume to go deal with the villain with him, and to the point like he pulls Peter's mask off and he's like, oh yeah, secret identity, so he looks the other way to change into his costume to go deal with him.
Nice.
And he funds the Avengers at one point.
But the only thing is, I think a certain actor by the name of Ryan Reynolds would love to do something on that line with Tom Holland. The only question is, being Ryan Reynolds, he would actually go further than the comic books would actually allow. He is that sort of, let's face it, Ryan Reynolds is the sort of guy to do that, let's be honest.
Pretty much.
Yeah, there you go. By the way, sir, can I ask a question? Are you a fan of Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker's Rush Hour trilogy?
Yes.
You are.
Yes.
In that case, Jackie Chan has confirmed that Rush Hour 4 is in the works, saying we're talking about Rush Hour 4 right now. Nothing to say whether Chris Tucker will be hired or if Chris Tucker doesn't want to do it, if they'll cast somebody else. I don't know about you, sir, but I insist that if a movie isn't made for so long, so if like the trilogy is done and then another movie isn't made, then that should be the end of that franchise as far as anything goes. Because when all you're doing is prolonging the inevitable, it's like, oh yeah, let's have a reunion. Oh, it's not a very good reunion. Oh, shame. The only one that I actually can say, sir, is that is actually worth a wait is American Reunion.
American. How about Top Gun?
Oh, good choice, sir. Very good choice.
That was
what I want.
Yeah, that was actually a kind of a surprise. I didn't know I was going to enjoy that. The reunion, the new one.
Yes. Stephen King's Dark Tower is being adapted into a potential 5-season TV series for Amazon Prime. By the way, I had a guest earlier who had a movie called Los Angeles on Amazon Prime. So if you see it, if you go on, ladies and gentlemen, and you happen to be on it when the Dark Tower comes on, go and check it out. It's award-winning. So with that being said, it's actually been done by The Haunting of Hill House's creator, Mike Flanagan. That, can I just say one thing? I have actually watched. Is it Haunting of Hill House I've watched, or is it sequel? I've seen one of them either way. And let's just say that the movie with Idris Elba will be let's just say it will be long forgotten about if it's done right by the guy who has literally made jump scares absolutely terrifying again.
Did you ever see?
I'm not sure if you're a fan, sir, but it is actually it was actually quite a good movie. It had Idris Elba in it, but then again, I know this from personal experience. Idris Elba, just because he's in the movie, doesn't necessarily mean it's a good movie. So it can't be any worse than that.
Well, I did see Mike Flanagan's one. I think it's one of his first films, Absentia. Did you ever see that by chance? I believe it was Absentia. Yeah, it was a little horror film. Excellent.
Oh, you've got more money than I've got sense, sir. Actually, the inventor of what is known as Dyson has actually got Dyson air purifying headphones. It's 4-way into audio accessories, featured advanced noise cancellation, high efficiency air purification, and has a price tag of nearly $1,000. Which, let's be honest, sir, that's peanut money for you.
Yes.
So the next question is: when will you be buying? I think it's John Dyson, the owner's name is. When will you be buying him out of his company?
I do. Well, that's a good question. I do like the look of it. It's interesting, isn't it?
It is, definitely.
Oh, that is interesting. So it's literally giving you good air as you're on your earphones.
Yeah, literally. It's almost like a certain Caped Crusader could use it, sir, in his hour of need against, probably the most despicable, ridiculous, two-faced character that has ever been made. And the worst villain ever.
Does he kind of look like Bane to you? Meaning with the
in fairness, you could actually say that you could actually say that could be an alternative for Bane's mask if he ever needs to put his venom in an alternate way. So yeah, that's why you're a genius, because you think of everything. Right, that's the end of the news, Fraser, sir. Now, unfortunately, there's been quite a lot going on in the DC world. Wonder Woman 3 has been cancelled by Patty Jenkins herself. Allegedly, the vision she had for it was not the one shared by the ones who were going to greenlight it, so that's finished. There's now rumours that Man of Steel 2 will not happen. There's also rumours, and I have heard this, that Jason Momoa actually wants to play Lobo, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom might be his last movie as Aquaman. Obviously, there's the Flash coming out, which will be basically can be touted as a soft reboot, because Fraser, you're a man who knows more about this than me. I'm sure you would agree that Flashpoint is one of the many. I'll say one of. How would you describe Flashpoint? Because I'm struggling to find the words because I'm still dealing with being traumatized by him.
Basically, Flashpoint is a culmination of all the Flash stories over all the years, everything Barry Allen's been through up until he found out the truth about what happened that night when he lost his mother. And then it led into the New 52.
So by rights, not that I'm saying the New 52 it will go along that line, but with the fact that a lot of the cast are getting older, I mean, Ben Affleck's nearly 50, he's staying on. Michael Keaton's supposed Batman movie's been cancelled, Batgirl's been cancelled, as we know. And Jason Momoa has allegedly said that Lobo is his dream, and it kind of puts a bit of shade onto Aquaman when the lead star wants to play a different hero or anti-hero in the DC universe. Black Adam, even though I haven't seen it yet, but I have heard good things about it. It has bombs, so it's not exactly showing the current DC EU has a lot of promise. There's been a lot of rumors. James Gunn has gone on Twitter and said that basically some of it's true, some of it's not, but he has put a photo of, and I think I mentioned this last week, has put a photo of Kingdom Come, which if he's put that on, and bearing in mind, I know James Gunn is a great director, but I don't think he would literally bait us with something like that if he didn't mean it. So what he's thinking is the current Snyderverse will go when a Flashpoint resets, and that everything new will basically be Kingdom Come. So what do you think, Fraser? Is that how you think it's going to go, or do you have an alternate version with your comic book knowledge?
Well, it depends. If they're not going to use Superman, and Kingdom Come very much hinges on using him, because him stepping away from the world and them embracing more of a hero who kills and everything is what threw the world in the full thing of disarray without like that guiding like light of hero to lead them, to set the example for the rest of the superhero community. It became very much anarchy of like the non-supers taking on the supers. Mm-hmm. And you need Shazam for that story, because it's very much a Superman story and everything. And it does get a little bit religious because they bring in the Spectre and he chooses a priest to come along with him to very much weigh the way humanity and everything's been happening.
Yeah.
And it is a bit of a spoiler in the book, but it very much comes down to Superman and Shazam, and Billy has to make an ultimate choice because Billy is very much of two worlds. He is immortal, and he very much is a super. His nickname is the mightiest mortal. So it very much comes down to somebody who walks both worlds, ultimately makes the decision about the fate of this world. Mm. It's a fantastic book. The art in it's amazing. If I recall, they used actual images of people and then like painted and everything. It's a really good book. But depending on their approach, I could see Kingdom Come happening. And if I recall, Jay Garrick is very much on the run as the Flash to the point he very much became the Speed Force energy, so he can constantly stop crime. So if they pull that story, it depends who they use, because we haven't been introduced to the other ones outside the shows. So if they do that, I could see that version of Barry going back to prevent that day when Magog shows up to basically make the world doubt Superman.
Yeah. The other thing is, though, Fraser, and don't mean to be ageist when I say this, but a lot of the current DC EU cast are, I'll say, a lot older. I mean, Gal Gadot is approaching 40. Jason Momoa is over 40. Ben Affleck is 50-ish. So it's a case of not only could they reboot the actual DCU as a whole, they could actually reinvent it with actors that you could sign to, say, Marvel contracts. So if they, whatever plan they have for it, they could literally. So you know how Marvel has planned out its movies for like the next 5 years, we'll say. Well, DC planned it out for 10 years. So the question is, how would you approach with whatever characters you're going to use? Because at the end of the day, you're still going to need. We've still got a 10-year plan, so anyone has got to stick out that role for 10 years at least. So it's a case of do they keep what they've got? I mean, obviously Jason Momoa will be staying because he wants to play Lobo. But would you hire younger actors who can carry on and make a lot more movies, or would you keep the current crop you've got?
Well, if they're taking the Kingdom Come approach, they very much could keep the older actors they have. If I recall, Henry Cavill's one of the oldest actors they cast for Superman. They have a solid cast. They just need plans. I feel like building in the Justice League, if they did maybe one more Man of Steel film, did another Batman film, and then had like Flash, Wonder Woman, and all that, if they show how the world was like after they lost Superman, and then led into Justice League, where very much like at this point, Earth's forces have been decimated. Like Superman, Batman battled each other, and they battled that Doomsday as well. Like they pretty much decimated a lot of stuff. So, and Wonder Woman's films take place in the past. They could have waited till Wonder Woman hit the present, and they could have let off that because very much there was doubt about Superman. So they very much world build, but they didn't really do much with it. I feel like if they cast more of that doubt going forward, we saw more of what pushed Batman to where he is. Because with Marvel, they more so like everyone kind of embraced the superhero community besides like Tony being doubted, and the Avengers weren't doubted until that incident in Civil War. If they built more of that, because it makes sense that we'd have doubt because like humans very much fear change and everything, they could make it really work if they wanted to. I think they need different approaches. They very much have a really strong strength in the noir stuff. So I would use characters like The Question. Very much, most people don't know, but Watchmen, a lot of those characters originally were the Charlton heroes. So you had like Captain Atom, Ted Cord, Blue Beetle, The Question. Like all those characters originally were going to be in that story until DC figured out what Alan Moore was going to do. So he had to make new characters. DC very much has a very strong strength in some of those type of stories. And I feel like they very much more so should be pulling from that. I know they want to do their own thing as well, but there's so much source material, and these characters have been around for so long. But the thing is, when it comes to Superman, he very much doesn't need to change. Very much like I believe with Archie Andrews. Archie, even in the new book, is very much still Archie who he is, and Superman very much is that. He very much wants to see the best in everyone. He's still like that kid sitting on the farm with his powers trying to figure out where he should be, and that very much the world is class. So I feel like they should really build off all that because they didn't need to take away his dad. Superman very much when it comes down to it is he became a hero because it was the right thing to do and he wanted to help people. He's the same guy who, when a girl wanted to jump from a roof, he stayed there like the entire time from sun up to sundown until he could convince her to come off the roof. He literally would stop to get a cat out of the tree. He's very much that guy that with powers, without powers, at the end of the day, he's still going to do what it takes to help you. A little girl got taken deep into space, and if I recall, I think she was an orphan, and very much the aliens were like, no one's coming for you and everything. And Superman shows up, and because of Superman, every single person matters that he meets every single day. And he went deep space, got that little girl back, and brought her back to Earth, and made it very clear, like, no matter what, you are somebody, and you mean something to me, everyone that I meet every single day. And I think they need to capture that. And Henry Cavill very much could bring that. But they need to sort Superman. At the end of the day, Superman helps everyone and everything. And he very much is that beacon that even Bruce believes in him.
Speaking of which, I believe our illustrious new boss has had to leave us because I believe, I've just tried to text him and say, I am just going to buy a private jet for which you and Fraser can happily use. Well, Fraser, it's nice to have a billionaire as a boss, isn't it? So in that case, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce his cousin and great filmmaker as well, William Wayne.
Thank you. Yeah, well said there, Fraser, on your speech there about Superman.
Thank you.
I think that's really the essence of who he is, right? And as far as him, boy, all those stories on Superman, there's a lot to be said there on that, and still be done. But okay, continue on, guys. You're doing well.
Thanks, mate. But yeah, obviously, we don't have the encyclopedic knowledge of you. But the one thing we do know is what makes a good movie. Now, obviously, Will, as a director, you yourself, you sort of have an idea about where this could go. But at the same time, James Gunn and Peter Safran, who are the co-CEOs of DC Studios, haven't exactly met with Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav yet. But I do know that David Zaslav is a lot more open to ideas than Warner Bros. Previous regime was. Obviously, there's going to be a problem with the same problem that I would say Marvel directors had, is that I have a feeling that regardless of whether James Gunn will be flexible or not, it's still going to have to go within the 10-year plan that they had. So, from a directing point of view, will it be easier now that James Gunn owns DC Studios, or will it be a lot harder for a director to have their vision for a character?
Well, what's your thoughts there, Fraser? Because you were doing a really good job on it.
Personally, I think James Gunn has a really good approach. Like, we've seen what he's done with Guardians of the Galaxy, the Suicide Squad. Yeah. He very much, I've noticed, when it comes to very bizarre characters, he has a way of very much grounding them and making them relatable. I feel like he's underutilized in a lot of ways, that people underestimate everything that he can do. I think given the right people around him, he could pull a very solid movie universe, because at the end of the day, he understands what works for characters, what doesn't. Like, look at everything with Star-Lord. Star-Lord very much was a lot more of a serious character until we got the Chris Pratt counterpart. He's taking characters that you think are one-dimensional, changing very much a Polka Dot Man. Polka Dot Man very much just like a goofy character back in the day, and he's taken body dysmorphia, and we saw very much his journey of eventually where he stepped up. Unfortunately, something happened to him near the end of the film, but he took a lot of characters you really wouldn't use and found a way to make them very likable.
Yeah, I'm excited for James Gunn taking over and seeing where that whole universe is going.
But obviously, all we have is theories at this stage, because obviously James Gunn has said that a lot of rumors going around are true, not true. I've actually heard from multiple rumors that I forgot his name now, Jason Momoa wants to play Lobo. But obviously, that would mean that either Aquaman would go or Aquaman would be recast. But this is the problem. When you have an actor who's already portrayed a character in another franchise and wants to play another one, there's obviously the burden of that character already having played someone. And then it will be like, oh, is he as good as Jason Momoa? Is he not as good as Jason Momoa? That's going to be the one big problem they have. Because obviously, it's like every Batman. Oh, yeah, we'll Kilmer be better than Keaton, or will George be better than Val Kilmer? But to be fair, that's really irrelevant, because no one was better than Keaton. Although the producer still thinks that Ben Affleck is the best live-action Batman, which I don't. Hell, if you want my honest opinion, Fraser, just get Kevin Porter on as Batman. Therefore, I'm definitely happy.
Kevin Porter would be amazing. It very much, they got Bat in the Sun as well, because their practicability of suits and fight scenes are amazing.
Not to mention the fact that Bat in the Sun has actually worked with DC on a number of projects. Superpower Beatdown, which basically had Batman in a lot of confrontations. Marvel had, was it Wolverine and Winter Soldier in a few as well? The decent Joker has actually done one.
They've had Nightwing.
Harley Quinn been in one. Yeah. By the way, Fraser, who was actually in one of the Superpower Beatdowns? Was it John Morrison or was it John Hennigan?
It was John Hennigan. It was Casey Jones versus Kick-Ass. And they also had Jason David Frank versus Ryu versus Scorpion.
Yeah. Still, honestly, they've had millions of views on YouTube. But if anyone has listened and hasn't looked at it on YouTube, I really recommend you do, because despite the fact that they're only 5-6 minutes long, I still feel that the actors who play them or portray them actually sometimes play the characters more than you would say. I still think Kevin Porter is the best live action Batman. Even though I must disagree with Mr. Wayne on this. I did agree with him originally, but he's not here anymore. But Kevin Porter is better. It's basically a newer Michael Keaton, only a bit more vocal, I'll say. So I would actually think that if Kevin Porter did decide to go to DCU to portray Batman, I would be in full favor of it. The only thing is, we've already saying that, Fraser. We've already got Wonder Woman lined up, a la Rachel Brooks-Smith, who I've had on this week, and she's an absolute joy. She really is. She's actually like a real life Wonder Woman, if you must. She would be probably one of the best acquisitions that a film franchise or a director would have if she was given the chance.
Who's that? Who's the actress that you just mentioned?
Rachel Brooks-Smith. She's done a lot of TV. She's going to be starring in Legend of the White Dragon next year with the late great Jason David Frank.
Oh, cool.
It's a Bat in the Sun production, so nobody even needs to tell me how good it is, because I already know how good it will be, mate.
Excellent.
Honestly, if you do get chat, if you get chance, they're only about 13 minutes long in videos, but for half of it's kind of like half of it is the actual battle itself, and the other half is the build up and I'll say the build down of it. But they are absolutely worth a look. I will not put it this way. It's probably some of the best fight choreography you'll ever see. It genuinely is, and I say that wholeheartedly with a hand on my heart. I will say one thing. I am looking forward to it, but I think the DCEU, as far as we are concerned, as far as the Snyderverse goes, that's dead once Flash is done, or whatever their plan involves. So it's actually a bit sad, because now there'll be another Batman for the producer to lust over. She really likes Ben Affleck's Batman, but I still think she's wrong. So William, who's your favorite Batman and Joker?
Wow. Well, I do like Pattinson.
Yeah, you do. You even said that on the interview. You really like Pattinson.
I mean, I hate to agree with your producer, although I haven't met your producer, but I do like Ben Affleck in that too. I thought he did a good job. Yeah, but then all those actors they always got for Batman were awesome. Like Christian, I mean, man.
Although I must admit, Christian Bale's had more of a demonic voice, even if it did sound a bit weird. Affleck's was more monotone, but Kevin Conroy will always be our favorite because he didn't need to have anything put in. He naturally had a two-tone Shakespearean voice. So the higher part he used for Bruce Wayne and the lower part he used for Batman. That's why he is one of the best. That's why he was still used many, many years after the animated series. And that's why he's being used again in next year's Suicide Squad. Although I must admit, I will be a bit sad when it comes out. But at the same time, I bet me and every other animated series fan was relieved. Just because we get to see him one last time. I suppose I better end it on that, sadly. And actually, no, I'll end it on that. But at the same time, I will thank our new investor, Mr. Wayne, for giving us more money than sense, and the fact that me and Fraser now can hire a private jet whenever we want. What do you say, Fraser? How do you fancy going to Ontario and dropping off a few things for Mr. Tasker? What do you think? Shall we leave him some caviar? I'm thinking we leave him some caviar. Just say, look what you could have had.
Fraser is dumbstruck. He can't even speak. He can't hear you because I have him in the chopper right now. He's headed to the private plane.
Oh dear. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening this week. I do hope that you've enjoyed the intro as well as the news. A bit unconventional, but I just thought that considering we have somebody who knows his way around acting and definitely knows how to direct a movie, I thought it would be a nice surprise. And he's you know what the cheeky bugger said? He said, "Oh, what is it?" He said phrase in that video he showed us that sort of used to put on. Sanity will be established when I come back next year. So,
Yeah.
no offense, but I think sanity has already been established, and that's before the year's even out. But seriously, William, thank you for the bit of acting. You still got it, by the way. And you did such a good job, even though you were a bit unsure about where we were going. But once you got into it, you were absolutely brilliant.
Oh, thank you for leading me along the way, Dean. That was a lot of fun. And Fraser's good talk comic books. I'm looking forward to seeing yours.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I will apologise for the rushing off and vomiting in the sink, but I just thought it kind of added a bit of extra weight. So yeah, I must admit I haven't laughed in a while since we've done that. I tell you what, Face, do you know what that reminded me of? I remember when Bobby Roode and Austin Aries fought each other in London one year at Wembley Arena, and it was a case of who can one up the other one. So one would remember when they had the steel chairs, if they slam it down on the floor, and they basically looked like they'd knocked each other out. When the ref was checking on one was basically saying, you were absolutely useless at all this. Then when the ref turned around, Aries went down and Roode said something. It was almost on par with that. I nearly peed myself. I'm not going to say who needs Nathan, but I think we've done a good job. I think we've done more than enough. So, yeah. So all I'm going to say is I hope Mr. Wayne comes back more often, because I think our other co-host needs to be put in his place sometimes. And suffice to say, I think we've done that today. Hold on a minute. Hold on, gentlemen. I've just got a text message. John Cena is the best actor ever to come out of WWE. Oh my God. I thought this drama was supposed to have been finished. Do you know what? I don't even want to know what else he's been hiding from us. But either way, Mr. Fraser, we will get to the bottom of it next week. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will be there with us. By the way, I'm going to be flaunting my interrogation skills. But I tell you something, he's got a lot to answer for. He definitely has a lot to answer for. Socials wise, you can find me on Final Cut Official. We are planning to go back onto YouTube next year. We're just going to wait and see how everything goes, but I think we will start putting content on for next year. I've still got a load of gaming shorts that I'm hoping to put on at the beginning of next year. I did say I was going to do it every week, but I thought I'd build a collection up, because then I can make the content daily. So when the kids go back, which I think is January 4th, I'll start uploading content on a daily basis. So in fact, if I may quote our other co-host who isn't here, you can find me on www.netpixie.ca. If you want to hire me for any voiceover work, you can also find me at www.netpixie.ca. Just don't ask me to do Phil Woods, because I can't do it.
Very good. Cheers.
So, Fraser, this is the point where you go your socials. I thought I was the one who was supposed to forget his lines for a podcast.
I know I have a lot, though. You can find me on Twitter at 5-Star Wildcard. You can find me on Facebook at the Body Slams Draw Cooks Facebook page, the Finalcut Facebook page. You can find me at the Go Kai Studios Facebook page if you want to check out the first issue of Paranormal Patrollers. It's on Webtoons. And you find me on TikTok, Beautiful Michael, where I put up ridiculous videos.
So, as our illustrious guest, actually, do you know what? It's actually been an evening with William Wayne. So, with that case, William, since you have had I say an evening, it has been an evening for me, but it's been a morning for you. How has your evening with Final Cut Productions been?
Oh, it's been great. It's been a hoot. I didn't realize we would have such a good time.
Did you also? Here's a question for you. Did you realize that we could be so devious?
Yes, I like that part about you guys. It was, and the knowledge that you guys were dropping throughout the podcast was fun. It was fun.
In between, I have actually said to William when we were planning the whole the whole intro and news bit. I did say to him, if you want to ever pick my brain, I'm at your disposal. I think I've literally nailed my audition for that.
Yes, you have. Yes.
Just thanks for being on the podcast. I must admit, it's been a while since we've had a guest, actually. So, as is the usual for a guest, is there anything you want to plug and any socials you want to plug for anything?
No, just my film Los Angeles, and that's on. You see it in the UK, Los Angeles.
Yeah, it is on Amazon Prime,
and it's on Amazon Prime. Exactly. William Wayne director on Instagram. Los Angeles the movie on Instagram. So, yeah, it's been a pleasure. I'll be following you guys in your future podcasts.
I look forward to watching your movies, and I will be watching Los Angeles. Do you know what? I might even subject the producer to it on Christmas Day. She's like, "Can we watch a Christmas movie?" No, we're watching Los Angeles.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Well,
I will say to her, if we do not watch this on Christmas Day, you can take it up with its director about why you don't want to watch it.
Excellent. Then we can have future discussions as far as Star Wars and certain Joker files.
Yeah, so that was Joker Files. We will have to corner the corporate direct next week he's coming back next year. So we will need Mr. Wayne back next year for disciplinary action, because I think all that preaching he's done, and then we find out that he's even worse than us. That's shocking. That's absolutely shocking and abysmal. And by the way, I think, hold on a minute, I've just got our producer chat. Here we go. It's all right. Nathan's not responded yet. In fact, what would you like me to say from him? Hold on a minute. Right, so hold on a minute. A message from Final Cut's new owner. Now, in the spirit of Mr. Wayne, what would Mr. Wayne like Mr. Tasker to know?
Well, I'm going to leave this one to you.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Ben. This can be a preview of how we've planned this. So come on then, Fraser, help me out here. How can we say that Final Cut producer's billionaire new owner wants to have a word with him?
You just put it like that.
Fair enough. Once, hold on a minute. A message from Final Cut's new billionaire owner. Our owner requires in the new year, because he's back in the new year. Our new owner requests, or should that be demands? I'm trying to figure out which one it is.
What would Bruce, more polite?
What would Bruce Wayne do? Would Bruce Wayne ask or demand?
That's a good question. I'd say demands.
That's it. In that case, demands.
You should have him fly to the other side of the world to meet.
Our owner demands the presence of Nathan Tasker. To address the file that has been uncovered. Fraser, you are not sorry. Do not put me out on the shelf here. It was your idea much as it was mine.
I know, but one of us has to be good cop in this situation.
Yeah, but he knows. He knows anyway.
I know, that's what makes it a lot funnier.
That has been found partaking to certain beliefs that have since been questioned. Attendance is, necessary. Attendance is necessary. Is it faithfully or sincerely when you don't really know someone? Is it faithfully?
Go with it. Yeah.
Yours, Steve. Right. I've got it written down here. A message from Final Cut's new billionaire owner. Our owner demands the presence of Nathan Tasker to address the file that has been found partaking certain beliefs that has since been questioned. Attendance is necessary. Yours faithfully, Mr. Wayne.
Perfect.
I know for a fact he won't see this until I'm in bed anyway because he's in theatre play. Right, so on that, William, thank you very much. Mr. Fraser, producer, we need to have a talk because I am not the one who's going to get butchered. If I'm going down, you two are going down with me. So while we have a disciplinarian of my own, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching and listening. And hopefully next week we still will have a podcast. See you next week.